If I was to walk down the street, people would never recognise I was deaf, or let alone blind. In lots of ways, I think that's a good thing, but I could disagree because I look so normal, like everybody else. People forget about what I'm going through. At school, I tried so hard to be like everyone else, but as the day goes past, instead of getting better, I seem to be getting worse. I can't even go through 1 week without getting a headache. It might not sound much, but when I get a headache, it's awful. It's like having so many obstacles in my vision that I have to try and ignore them to get on in lessons. And it's hard to do that without getting distracted. My everyday life constantly has distractions in my eyes now. Before it used to be a weekly basis, but now it's every single day. When I say distractions, I mean I get like various flashes bobbing around in my field of vision. On the whole, I cope with it okay, but as I'm losing my peripheral vision too, that makes it even more difficult. I find this really hard to explain to anyone, because the truth is no one will ever understand properly, even people with the same condition, because we are all slightly different. Most people that know me well know I am a very positive, easygoing character. I never use my condition as an excuse to not continue my life as normally as possible. I will never change in this way. However, as time goes by and my sight worsens, things are getting more difficult. I know it's hard for people to understand, also very hard for me to accept and explain, but I'm going to try. If you can imagine every time I open up my eyes, I don't see what you see. Imagine looking through a letterbox and the edges being cloudy. And often, in the middle of that letterbox, it's like looking through direct sunlight and it's too bright, painfully bright. You want to blink and restore normal vision. I can't do that. My eyes are now too damaged to be able to control the amount of light and dark that I see. It is all unpleasant and a nasty experience for me on a daily basis. I wish others could just look through my eyes once to really understand what I'm dealing with, just so they could know that just being mollywopped is hard work. I don't want sympathy ever, just support and understanding. There are, however, ways to make my life a little easier and less tiring, and I'm so grateful to those that make the extra effort for me. Small things that help me in my life are being aware that when I wake up in the morning the lighting is dim and that I'm gently woken so that I can come round slowly and allow my eyes to adjust as best as they can, gradually. This stops me from getting an immediate headache. When I enter a classroom, the blinds are down if it's bright, that I'm sat in a position that I'm comfortable with. This small point has caused untold grief from time to time, as some of the members of my class have thought I've been difficult. Me being me, I never like to make a scene, so I mistakenly never did anything about it. But nowadays I have improved at speaking up to make things perhaps a little bit better. Once in class, I need to have my work adapted ready for me to access the lesson. It's not to say I can't read ordinary text, because I can, except I'm straining my eyes, and this again leads to headaches or even migraines. And I usually have to leave the lesson and sit in a quiet room for resting my eyes. I hate this because it highlights my problems and it's not necessary, with a little forward thinking. I find crowds very difficult because I cannot see to either side, turning my head, and I can only turn slowly without feeling dizzy or nauseous. I just like people to realise, for me, as simple as turning your head, has an awful side effect for me. You'll be aware I can't see in the dark or in bright light, and it makes me feel very isolated and very different. And I suppose I am. But you'll agree, I rarely complain and I always try my best to fit in like everyone else. Unfortunately, there is no cure for my condition and I know it will get worse. I just would like you all to give me a little consideration so that I can enjoy my education and do my best.